Session 3, our final session. How are those charts looking? New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Looks like there would have been a buy trade just on the previous candle right here. We'll watch and see how that one goes. Or in fact, if you'd got in about half an hour previous, you could be in a little bit higher up here. Both opportunities there. Loosely using the word opportunity, of course. Great British Pound, Canadian dollar. Again, buy signal. Let's have a look closer. So the RSI goes from 58 to 68 by the end of this candle. So it seems like you'd be in right at the tippy top here. Well, it might not be the tippy top. It might plow on. Seems unlikely. Here's a buy entry that would have worked. You'd have got in at the end of this candle here. And because the accelerator oscillator didn't flip, you would have actually had to close it at the top of the next green candle. You'd take about 13, 14 pips in that one. Oh my God. Those are two charts that would already have buy trades in motion. The closest one to giving us a signal is this Euro Australian dollar. You can see it's been coming down for the Asia session, and the RSI around about 42, 43 at the moment. If this is a retracement on price, these last two candles, and we see red start coming again, should get a sell signal from that. Let's check our economic calendar, see if there's any events today, any interest rate decisions. Yeah, quite a lot on. We'll just hit the big ones. Brazilian Central Bank raised their interest rates from 6.25% to 7.75%. Now that's a sign of the inflation that they're facing. Japan retail sales month on month, 2.7% actual versus 1% forecast. Not too bad for the monthly, but it does put the yearly on a negative 0.6 actual against 3.5% forecast. Bank of Japan interest rate decision, that was about 5 hours ago. Held at negative 0.1% from the previous, no change there. Into the European session then at 10 o'clock, just about an hour ago, we got CPI and unemployment from Spain in the Eurozone. There's CPI, the Consumer Price Index, the inflation number, month on month, 2% actual against 1.4% forecast. Not good to see 2% actual, that is around about the yearly target, and that's just for a month. Unemployment rate down a bit as well there, 15.26% was the previous. Forecasted to come down to 15.07, but even better, 14.57% for them. Spain obviously having struggled with unemployment for a long time anyway. Swedish GDP quarterly, that's a beat on the forecast, 1.8% actual against a flat 0.0% forecast. Unemployment numbers from Germany should have come out a couple minutes ago. Those might feed through as we speak. In the afternoon, PPI numbers come through at 12:30 South Africa, 1 o'clock Italy, then 2:45 the European Central Bank interest rate decision. Could get spiky then. We are trading the euro against the Australian dollar. Hopefully if we are in a trade it goes our way. 3 o'clock CPI from Germany month on month. I think it's been the last 3 times they've held at 0.0%. Now they're in fact expecting a slightly deflationary at negative 0.2. And half an hour later, 3:30, big US dollar numbers. GDP quarterly forecast at 6.7%. Same as the previous. Wouldn't be a terrible figure, but who doesn't like a beat? And of course, Thursday's weekly initial jobless claims. Those are forecast at 289,000. After that, pending home sales month on month. Had new home sales on Tuesday, and now we get the pending. Other than that, a few speeches peppered in, but we'll be watching out for the big US numbers and of course the ECB interest rate decision. It's about to be 11 o'clock. We better check whether we're getting a signal or not. But we shouldn't see any major action from these events until 2:45 onwards. No signal as the clock moves past 11. Both of these two charts, the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, the pound Canadian dollar, their RSI values shifted below 60. So as you can see there on the pound Canadian, that was 59.4. If we get a green candle, it's even a small one like this, you can see it tilts the RSI over to 61, above 60. So there's potential for a buy trade coming shortly. And the same principle applies to the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, just we're not seeing it turn green that much yet. Let's wait and see. 1 minute to go, and the pound CAD does look like it's going to come through with the signal. Let's prep ourselves for that. Here's the lowest low right down here from the last 14 periods. Call that 32 pips. Did look for a minute like the New Zealand dollar, US dollar was also going to give a signal up at that high, but it's backed off from there now. But we are going to get it on the pound CAD. So we've measured 2% risk down to the low there. You can see how our risk is calculated on screen now, and we're going to buy. And of course our stop loss can go in, and so too can the trading stop loss, 320. Based on the previous performance of these entry signals, I'm not too confident about where we're going to go with this trade. The accelerator oscillator has already been coming down from these sort of lower candles than this high. So we definitely need to reverse that momentum with a green candle or two. Trade number 1 of the day. Coming up to the end of the second period, and our trade on the pound CAD. Oh, it's been rough times out there. The accelerator oscillator still ever so slightly above 0, so it does look as though we are going to have to endure one more candle of this. Could take us to the stop loss. We're about 2/3 of the way there. It's pushing even more. We honestly want to see this flip over and just save us some money. This is no good once again. Bad start to the morning. And we are looking over as well at the Euro Australian dollar, because the RSI just hovering around 40. When it was at this low, it was beneath 40, which would signal us in for an entry. And it's still very close. We're going to measure out the risk just to be sure. That is 35 pips, and we are getting the signal from it. We can see that it closed below there, 35.71. So you can see exactly how it's all calculated on screen, and we can get in there at 0.59. There we are, selling off the euro. 12 o'clock, and we got to close out these trades. The accelerator oscillator closing against them, so both they go there. Yeah, the accelerator oscillator on the euro Aussie dollar started on the wrong side for us. For a minute there, we were in profit at this low. We were looking like we were going to take $6 or $7. That would have felt really nice. But no, we start the morning off with 2 losses, plain as day. And of course, our pound CAD, terrible one, right in at the peak, up here. Reversal comes. At least we got a green candle for the last period. Save us some money there. So we're at $108.09 down for the morning. On the Euro Aussie dollar, it does look as though it's going to be getting us back in. RSI reading 39. Only got out started last period. Now to close this one, we've seen a red candle, and the RSI is beneath 40. Is it going to close there? Ooh, that was pretty close. I think it did just about close under there, 39.87. So it is leading us in. If we were a robot, we'd be taking this trade. So let's sell off the market once again. 34 pips to the stop loss, so we can set that there. Almost 1:15, and it's going to be time to shut down our trade in 10 seconds time on the Euro Australian dollar. It is a loss, of course. It's going to be around about $55, $60. Let's close that off now, and the final figure is $57.68 lost. We got in here, we got back in, and then 3 straight candles that just run against us, especially this last one, and we close it down for loss number 3 of the day. 0-3, no surprise at all based on what we've seen the last 2 days. Very close to being 3rd times the charm on the Euro Australian dollar chart. You can see we exited the trade up here. That was our sell trade. Since then, 3 red candles have come in a row, and so we can hop right back in with the accelerator oscillator above 0. We're going to get into a sell trade, 39.77. So you can see all our risk calculated on screen. Let's sell it off. We already know what's going to happen, and we only narrowly avoided a trade on the New Zealand dollar US dollar pair as well. It was floating around about the 60 level. Again, if it had got us in, or if it gets us in after this candle, it's going to be right up at the resistance level after the move has already occurred. The RSI with levels at 60 and 40. It is incredibly slow at getting us in. Haven't come across a move we didn't already miss. We're about to close down this trade in 3, 2, 1, and it is profitable. Would you believe it? Look at that. $7.34. We are in the money. That's a gain. We can chalk that up. We'll be seeing green tonight. Even though the accelerator oscillator has crossed 0, it closed above 0, but we managed to make a little bit back. Only $158.43 down for the day now. We are very close to a sell signal on the pound CAD. Could finish below 40, but here comes the ECB interest rate decision, so it doesn't cross that 40 level. Finishes at 40.14. And you see the lack of spike this time when they announced the interest rate decision. 245 ECB Eurozone. No movement on any of these charts, not even the euro. Be interested to see how the volume candle finishes. And we have seen an increase in volume on all 3 of these pairs. It does come through with increased trading, and it's very close to giving us a signal on the Euro Aussie dollar. Again, a sell signal. Is it going to come? We're going to roll over in 1 second. It doesn't quite come. It really looked like it was going to when it was down here all the way through these lows. We were prepping for that. The pound CAD was also giving us a sell signal for a moment, but backed off from that. And the interest rates themselves were held at 0.00%. And now we are getting both those sell signals. Let's look at the pound CAD first. RSI at 35. Would have been nice to get the sell signal last period. Let's get ready with that one. You can see our risk on screen. 0.51, and that's a sell. And then over to the Euro Aussie dollar. 30 pips to the stop loss for this one. That highest high is where we got out of our sell trade last time. And so now let's get back in. 4th time's the charm. This is the 4th time we're selling off the market on the Euro Australian dollar. So if it works out, just to update on some of the numbers we've been getting as well. Unemployment rate in Germany came down to 5.4% from the forecast and previous of 5.5. Producers Price Index in South Africa month on month 0.9 actual against 0.6 forecast. A bit high, just like everyone else. Not as high as Italy though, 1.6%. That was what was forecast, but still not what they would have wanted. And then we had CPI from Germany at 3 o'clock. It didn't give that deflationary forecast of negative 0.2%. It came in at 0.5%. Quite a bit higher than the forecast, but as I say, they have kept it flat for the last few months, so they're not doing as bad with it as some of the other countries out there. GDP quarterly from the US with initial jobless claims in 10 minutes time. Very unusual flash crash in price there on the left side 2 charts. Wasn't enough to prop the trading stop loss, so not sure what happened there. Here comes the bounce, and it does wipe our stop loss out on the Euro Australian dollar for the worst trade of the day, $153.81 loss. Like a lot of these trades, I feel like I'm repeating myself. It was looking pretty good, and then it bounced right against us. How far did that one go? About 14 pips, so maybe if you're rocking a 10 pip take profit, 12 pip, could be good, could be good, could be better than this, that's for sure. The GDP quarterly numbers on the US dollar did come in at quite a miss, only a 2% actual against 6.7% forecast. Not the best reading for them. And the initial jobless claims were pretty close to the forecast, 281,000 actual against 289,000. And the stop loss also hits on our pound Canadian dollar trade. So that is a full and complete loss there, $152.60. We did have that flash down in price. Don't know what it was. Whatever it didn't put the trading stop loss in place. And price, well, you can see what's happened. That's our entry, 2 big green candles since then. And our stop loss gets wiped out, $464.84 down for the day. And we are going to call it there for the day. I don't see any other way back for the strategy. Been trading about 5 hours today, a little bit shorter than our usual sessions. But as I say, every signal seems to be a loser with this one. And we see the Euro Australian dollar offering up a buy trade for 10 minutes time. Currently the RSI at 65, and I really don't think that's going to be a good buy trade. So we are going to finish it there with a terrible day's trading, particularly on the Euro Australian dollar. Kept getting taken out in the range, and then when it finally looked like we might have a good thing going, big time reversal. The stop loss did save us some money. As I say, right now we'd be down about $300 or so if we were still in it. Or look for some sort of silver lining, seeing a sell signal come on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar in our near future as well. And I don't think we want to take that. That is our final session, so let's just round off all of our trades over in the journal. Here's the journal in all its glory. Let's go to the bottom line first. A loss of $1,143.07. That's just in 3 days, and with proper risk management as well. Started at 8,472, now down at 7,329. 17 trades across the 3 days, averaging just over 5 trades a day. And believe it or not, this first day was actually the best day. Things were a bit more reasonable. We were hoping this New Zealand dollar US dollar trade here that gave us the win. Those were the kind of wins we wanted. As I explained, you get the move, and then when it ranges, when price just ranges, the accelerator oscillator eventually just drifts back over, and then you close the trade after getting the gains for the first move. That did happen one time, but a lot of the time, honestly, it was reversals against us, or reversals within a bigger range than what we were working with. We got to the second day, things started getting really bad. We had the interest rate decision that sort of screwed us on both days actually. 2 different interest rates decision. The Bank of Canada one immediately knocked us out of these 2 trades, and that was what really put it into us. $244 and $167, terrible losses, and it didn't get any better into day 3. We did get that one small gain, which we're taking pride in, so it doesn't show us all red across the board. And the start of the day, these kind of losses, well, you could expect them as reasonable. It really does feel unfortunate when it gets your stop loss, because that's either the lowest low or the highest high of the last 14 periods, and it's against what the trend is telling you to do. So anyway, that does end the pain of that one. Probably the worst strategy I've done in live forward testing so far. Let's give our final thoughts before we finish. First major thought is that the results for this strategy speak for themselves. There's no hidden interpretation to be had. It went badly. And who designed it doesn't matter, we're not going to out them for that one. It was me, I designed it. Honestly, in backtesting, it looked okay. Tried out for a few hours and had a couple winning trades, so went with it. But live forward testing has truly exposed it for what it's like. When it comes to our entry indicators, the RSI getting to a reading above 60 or below 40 just got us in too late. Many times we entered into the trade at the near end of a price move, as we would quickly see a retracement or reversal against us, enough to get us out at least. You could try lighter entry signals at the 55-45 levels, but does breaking a minor amount from the center line of the RSI really justify jumping into a trade? Not so sure. It's also worth mentioning that our moving average filter didn't actually filter out any signals at all. Even at a bit of a longer 80 periods, it would see us in every single time the RSI gave its signal. So both of our entry indicators performing pretty poorly, and the accelerator oscillator for our exit indicator getting us out of the trades, that didn't do so good either. Generous way to put it. The accelerator didn't have a sweet spot for us. It definitely would get us out too early and would regularly get fooled by price retracements. We did get punished a few times by the final bar as the accelerator oscillator crossed over zero. If all of our trades were brought forward by one period, the results would look a bit better. Not much, but a bit. If you still wanted to try the accelerator oscillator as an exit indicator, then switch it up to anything else. Like if 2 histogram bar colors move against your trade direction, maybe that will work out for you. There's no other words for it, to be honest. Try the strategy if you're in the middle of a race to the bottom with someone, otherwise avoid it like the plague. So that's it from us, but there's a good chance we will be back trading this strategy again, but in the exact reverse. That's right, it went so badly for us that it's one of those strategies where we think that if we flip the whole thing on its head, maybe we can be profitable. Watch out for that, and if you do want any more information on either the indicators or the strategy used here, then there is some more of that in the description for you. And just in case you were concerned, all of these trades were taken with demo money, and we won't be jumping onto this strategy with real money anytime soon, I would imagine. Thank you if you did actually make it to the very end of this strategy. Wouldn't blame anyone for dropping out 5 minutes in. The writing was on the wall. This is Project Trade. I am Adam Smith's final descendant, and there will be more.